Today, I'm travelling by train for 52 hours from my home of London, 2,500 miles north to the Arctic Circle. Join me as I cross 7 countries over 3 days as I head the furthest north I've ever been, involving sleeper trains for each night to some of the fastest trains on the planet and even one that goes under the sea. Come along on this adventure starting in London at 7 AM. Well, good morning and welcome back to the channel. We're about to get on board our first leg of the journey, the Eurostar. So without any more to say, let's head inside. The beginning of our epic journey couldn't start at a more fitting place. The iconic St Pancras station. Opened in 1868, it now plays host to many high-speed rail services, including our ride today, the Eurostar, which will take us over to continental Europe. As this is an international train, there are a few quirks to contend with. Ordinarily in standard class, this involves quite a lot of queuing, though thankfully I've booked as business premier today, which includes a separate fast track check-in. Much like at an airport, my bag will be X-rayed. Oh, and passport control is also conducted here, so I'll technically leave the UK and enter the EU whilst still remaining in London. For some reason, Eurostar have the most depressing waiting area with little to do, but thankfully we have access to the Business Premier Lounge. It's a great space to relax in prior to boarding, with plenty of seating, fresh juices, pastries, and of course the obligatory caffeine hit. It's not long before we're invited to board at our leisure. We'll be taking train 9114 bound for Amsterdam via Brussels. Here we are then, the Eurostar E320, which started service back in 2015. Let's head down the platform to our Business Premier carriage and settle in. I've selected seat 42, situated in the middle of the carriage. Welcome on board our home for the next... Oh, who do we have here?
Good morning.
Oh, hello.
Is the seat free?
I hope so.
Oh, good.
Welcome back to the channel, Dad.
Thank you.
How are you doing?
I'm good.
Yeah, nice and early?
Yeah, pack me thermals.
So begins our adventure to the Arctic Circle and one of the world's most northerly train stations. The first leg will take us some 250 miles all the way over to Brussels in roughly 2 hours. It's a tiny step in the grand scale of the journey, where we'll be crossing a total of 7 countries and 2,500 miles. Now, as always, I'll share the cost of this trip with you as we travel. The Eurostar ticket cost a staggering $828 for the 2 of us. What exactly does that include? Well, aside from the Stella Lounge and elevated seating, we're about to be served breakfast, of which we have a choice of a hot or cold option. You can also enjoy complimentary drinks from the bar, though for once I won't be partaking, and another coffee will suffice this morning. It's at this point we enter the 50-kilometre long Channel Tunnel. The channel, as it's lovingly referred to, has been in place since 1994, and it offers the quickest commercial way between the UK and mainland Europe. Around 20 minutes later, we pop up near to Calais, and indeed France, the second country of our trip. Now we really ramp up the speed to a shy under 200 miles an hour. In what seems like no time at all, we approach the city limits of Brussels, and with it our first change.
Welcome to Brussels.
We've made it!
We have.
Now, how long have we got here, Dad? I think we've got about an hour, isn't it?
Hour and a bit, yeah. Just time for some coffee, some waffles.
Should we go into the station and have a look?
Mayonnaise and chips would do.
That would be nice. Brussels Midi Station, or translated to Brussels South, was opened in 1952 and is one of the 3 major stations in the city. Following Dad's suggestion, let's go find some Belgian waffles and, well, some Belgian chocolate for good measure. Appropriately sugared up, we'll head to platform 9 and our next connection. It's time to try the German high-speed intercity train, otherwise known as ICE. I've selected seats in first class for this segment, which features a similar layout to the Eurostar. Within moments, the train lurches forwards for a prompt departure. So where exactly are we heading now? We'll travel over the next 150 miles through Belgium to Cologne, Germany, arriving just in time for a spot of lunch. In terms of cost, this was $148, though it includes our onward connection to our sleeper train this evening. Well on our way to Cologne at 180 miles an hour, let's go and check out the dining car, located 3 cars up the train. This features a restaurant space with multiple booths, and of course a food kiosk, which oddly is closed at the moment. However, should you be interested, when it is open, there's quite an array of food available, along with that all-important German beer. Well, I'm very happy to welcome you officially to Germany. So next on the list, I think it's lunchtime. Let's see what Cologne station has in store for us. Ah yes, of course, currywurst, which if you're not familiar, is a fried sausage cut into pieces and topped with curry sauce and powder. With my steaming hot German sausage obtained, let's find somewhere a little more atmospheric to eat it. Okay, so we have about an hour until our next train, and with food sorted, I think it's time for another German staple. I guess we start as we mean to carry on.
Prost!
Prost! And here it is, our last non-sleeper service train of the trip. Getting on board, it's familiar territory. We're in first class again, though a slightly different carriage than before. This time we're seated in 66 and 64. As we pass over the River Rhine, where will this next leg take us? It's actually further than you'd think. We'll be travelling some 300 miles right up to Hamburg. With the sun setting over the German countryside, Dad and I settle in and get comfy. It's times like these I love these long journeys, to spend quality time together, which otherwise we wouldn't get as much chance to do. Welcome to Hamburg, Germany's second largest city after Berlin. Fun fact for you, it's got more bridges than any other city in the world. Yes, that includes Amsterdam and Venice. So we have a couple of hours in town, which will make the perfect time for a spot of dinner. Dad has found us a traditional German spot, serving up cold beer and pork schnitzel. Perfect. Our next train will be a Euronight service, across 3 countries, arriving into Stockholm, Sweden tomorrow morning. It's all a bit hectic at the station because of a last-minute platform change. Thankfully the correct train is here, so let's get right on board and check out our sleeping quarters. I've booked us first class again, but I can't say I'm getting luxury vibes off this. These deluxe sleeper compartments feature an ensuite and 3 bunk beds. So what's the plan? Well, join our slumber, we'll head up and into Denmark, continuing through the rest of the country as we sleep, and then crossing the Öresund Bridge and into Sweden, arriving into Stockholm tomorrow morning. And just before we take a proper look around our sleeper train, and indeed carry on our journey to the Arctic Circle, it's time for a quick word from today's video sponsor. It's a great time to switch to Opera, the fast and secure browser with integrated AI tools, which is absolutely free. You get a free built-in VPN, ad blocker, and tracker blocker, all enabled with a few simple clicks. I find it super convenient having my music accessible right from the customizable sidebar. You can choose from many different apps and websites to have readily available, like your favorites, Facebook Messenger and WhatsApp. The other feature I love is the built-in generative AI service, Aria, ideal if you want a summary of the web page you're on in just a couple of clicks, or if you want to ask a quick question. If you're coming from another browser, the switch is quick and easy, bringing over your bookmarks and passwords, taking just a few seconds. Also, if like me, you love having lots of tabs open, you'll appreciate tab islands, allowing you to group and easily organise open tabs. So what are you waiting for? Enhance your browsing experience today with Opera using my link down in the video description. Well, welcome to our new home for the night. Dad, what do you think?
It's tight.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
I didn't expect there to be 3 bunks.
Yeah. Someone has bought a dog, though.
Yes, we did come across someone's pet. I think it was someone's pet. Dogs aside, let's take a look around. The 3 bunks are already made up for us with fresh linen, each featuring a reading light, stowage net and communal climate control. By the window you'll find a small chair and table with provided drinking water, though you can always order more from your cabin attendant. In fact, there's quite a selection you can order from, but do note there is no dining car on board. It's been quite the day of travel, so let's get ready for some sleep. Here's the ensuite shower cum toilet. It's certainly seen better days, but will do the job for our shortish stay. Let's get those Tims off then, and somehow work out how to get up to the top bunk. Thankfully I discover a ladder which is stowed in this cupboard. This can be folded out and hopefully will support my weight as I climb to the top. It's certainly quite precarious. Anyway, night all, I'll catch you all in the morning. Well, a very good morning to you. I have to say I slept pretty well, or given that we've been rocked around quite a bit. However, we need our resident sleep expert. Dad, how did you sleep?
Not the greatest. But I have had some sleep.
Yeah?
Yeah, on and off.
Well, that's certainly a mixed review from Dad. Next up, I think I'll attempt to have a shower travelling at 90 miles an hour. Always a challenge. Now to sample the complimentary breakfast, which has been delivered to our room. It's pretty basic, that's for sure, but does come with some strong coffee, which is most appreciated. Whilst we graze our breakfast, let's talk cost for this sleeper train. For both of us it came in at $780, which I think is really expensive for quite a basic service. Welcome to Stockholm. We've arrived in our 6th country of the trip, albeit to a rather grotty rainy day. Not to worry though, we have a plan. As there's a few hours before our next sleeper train, I've booked us into a hotel so we can stow our bags and be refreshed prior to this evening. We've arrived!
We have, thank God.
Thank goodness.
Yes.
You freshly showered?
I am.
Didn't want to take the one on the train, did you, Dad?
No, it was grim. I feel like a new man.
So I think first things first, I think we should go and get some food, some traditional Swedish fare. Do you reckon?
Yes. Get some meatballs in you.
That has got to happen. And then let's just have a look around, because we've got a few hours now before we've got to catch our next train. And Dad, yes, another night train is coming up.
Oh.
With dusk upon us, it's time to get back on the rails. This means heading back into Stockholm Central Station. Like the last train, we're unsure of the facilities on board, so we'll make a quick pit stop in the convenience store for some supplies. Here we are then, platform 12 for our epic 18-hour train to one of the most northerly stations on the planet, Narvik in the Arctic Circle. It turns out our sleeper car is right at the very back of the train. Typical. This sleeper carriage consists of 13 compartments, and I've selected 30, 29 and 28 for me and Dad this evening.
Well, welcome to our home for the next 18 hours.
Yes, it's quite scary when you say it like that.
Yeah, look, I can touch the walls.
Yep. To be fair, I actually think initial impressions are I prefer it to our last one.
Yeah.
Yeah, even though this is second class, isn't it?
Is it?
Yeah, this is second class. The last
Am I not
night's
worth
was
it
first.
then?
There isn't a first class section
Oh,
on this
okay.
train, although
Okay,
I would have booked if we could, trust me. Only the best for you, Dad.
Yeah.
And just like that, we're off on our longest segment of the trip. So where exactly are we going? Unsurprisingly north for the next 1,000 miles into Lapland and deep into the Arctic Circle, arriving into Narvik tomorrow. Before taking a proper look around our sleeping quarters, let's head to the dining car for a spot of dinner. Oh, and I love that you can lock your cabin with a key card, which gives peace of mind to the security of your personal belongings. Walking up the train, we pass the couchette accommodation. Here you'll share in a cabin of 6, but it still looks clean and comfortable at a fraction of our price at $117. Walking further, we stumble across the seats for the overnight, which I really couldn't recommend, especially as they're pretty much the same price as the couchette. Finally, we arrive at the dining car. There's quite the selection available, and it looks decent and fresh. After ordering our meals, no, these are not inclusive in the fare, we can relax in the restaurant area of the car. In fact, as we've ordered some hot food, let's enjoy a beer whilst we wait. It's not all too long before our food is ready, so let's settle into a more appropriate seat and see what I've gone for. We've both opted for the lasagna, which, albeit not Swedish, is the exact comfort food needed this evening. Right, back in our cabin, let's take a proper look around. Again, there's room for 3 in here, across the staggered bunk beds, one of which converts to a sofa during the day. There's a sink, provided drinking water, climate controls, and ample storage for our carry-on. FYI, there is a larger area for storage at the end of the carriage, though this is not secured. So what does one do before bed on an Arctic Sleeper train? Cards, of course. Well, in this case, Monopoly Go, a favourite pastime of Dad and I on our travels. It does get pretty competitive, I'm telling you now. With the evening drawing to a close, I think it's nearly bedtime, whilst Dad pulls out the middle bed. Let's head down to one of the 2 bathrooms at the end of the carriage. It's clean and certainly does the job. In fact, I'd say I prefer this to our previous ensuite, as it's roomier and doesn't feel like you're brushing your teeth in a wardrobe. I see Dad has made up his bed wonderfully. Time to head up to mine. This ladder seems a little more stable than last night's, that's for sure. Good morning from Swedish Lapland. I must say I slept wonderfully up here, but I'm simply ecstatic to wake up in the snow. Right, I think we'll start the morning off with a shower. I'll need my shower keycard from my room and a towel. The shower is located right near the toilet at the end of the carriage. I certainly prefer this to the previous shower facilities, and despite having to share with others, it's kept clean and tidy. Feeling much fresher, I think we'll journey through the freezing vestibule in hunt of breakfast. It seems a fair number of passengers have left the train, so here's what the couchette looks like when it's all made up for sleep. It looks pretty comfy, to be honest. Now, in a strange turn of events, Dad and I are surprised to find a different dining car. Our previous one must have been swapped out during the night. In terms of selection, it's not a hit on the last one, but there's all the basics needed for breakfast. And of course that all important caffeine hit. The restaurant isn't really one per se, more an extended passenger seating, but we'll nab the central table for greater space. The friendly attendant suggested we try the cinnamon buns, which did not disappoint one bit. And just like that, we begin to roll into Kiruna, Sweden's northernmost city in the heart of Lapland. Aside from being a popular ski town for many Swedes, it's also home to something very cool indeed. The famous ice hotel, of course, somewhere firmly on my bucket list. I'm told we'll have time to get off the train briefly here, so of course I'll need my coat. It's pretty cold out here, would you believe? Oh, good morning. I don't think you expected to be outside in the snow this morning, did you, Dan?
Not really, no, but it wakes you up.
It really does. You don't need a coffee this morning, although that coffee was very good.
Yeah, it was good. Everything was good.
It's fantastic, but yeah, it is cold. I'm not really prepared. You're a lot more prepared than I am. I've just thrown a coat on quickly.
Yeah, well.
So we've got another sort of 2-3 hours of our journey, but at least we can get off and stretch our legs.
And have a snowball fight.
And we need a snowball fight, exactly.
Yeah.
Let's do that. I guess we should probably get back on board. We don't want to miss our imminent departure to Norway. This next segment gets even more beautiful as we pass the fjords and mountains of the Arctic Circle. It's truly surreal to think we've come here all the way from London by train. I guess we should probably work out the total costings for this trip. So this train, which I think we can all agree is the best so far, was $393 for the two of us. I feel that's excellent value for the experience. But the total cost, well, this comes in at a cool $2,149 for us both. Given the scale of this adventure, I really don't think that's that bad, but do let me know what you think.
Welcome to Narvik.
We have finally arrived. How has your trip been, Dad?
Yeah, it's been tiring, but this last leg's been really
It's been
enjoyable.
beautiful, hasn't it?
Yeah, great train, great people on the train.
We had a lovely chat to some of the staff, weren't they? Really
Yeah,
nice.
fantastic scenery, but it feels like we've arrived at the ends of the earth.
It is one of the most northerly railway stations in the entire world, to be honest. But
Yeah.
there we go. End of the road for us.
And it's a tad chilly as well.
It is
I
pretty
would
cold.
add.
Well, with that, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you all again next time.